Hi everyone, this is Joy with Create It with Joy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's two cards are made with some products that Spellbinders sent me. It is their Die Delights. One of them is the Kaleidoscope Triangles and the other is the Floral High Etched Dies. These were so fun to use and put together for these really cute cards. So now to start off, I am starting off with the Kaleidoscope Triangles, and it has a floral pattern, and these are the type of dies that when you cut them out, you can cut them out of different colored cardstocks and stack them on top of each other. But I'm going to be cutting them out of a mirrored or metallic gold cardstock. I will not be stacking them on top of each other. I am going to be doing something different. Both of these dies that were sent to me are not holiday themed at all, but being that it's so close to the holidays, this is where my mindset is. So I have turned them into some holiday cards instead of just a regular everyday card. So I'm running those through my die cut machine, and as you can see, they are all done. I ran them through twice. And I'm going to be using some liquid glue, and I'm going to be adhering that to some white glitter cardstock. And I just got this cardstock from my local craft store. I've had it in my stash forever. But I'm going to adhere these down, and I'm going to be gluing them close together. There's a little bit of space between the two lines. My idea for this card is to make this the pattern for Christmas ornaments. Now, Spellbinders November card kit came with dies to make ornaments, and so I am using the circles for that, and I will be cutting these after this glue dries. I will be using that circle and running it through my die cut machine to cut out the large ornament and a small ornament. Again, I wanted to do something different and to make it feel holiday themed, and this turned out better than I thought it was going to be. So there's the big circle, and you can see it fits perfect. And so I'm going to adhere that down. Now, here was a mistake. When I use my painter's tape to hold down my die cuts, I always take a lot of the sticky off on my pants. But on this metallic paper, it peeled the top layer off. So if you guys do this, don't stick your tape to the metallic paper, just to the metal and to the other side of the paper works great. But it actually turned out fine. You'll see God was definitely on my side for this because it turned out great. So I put those through the die cut machine and cut through perfect. But as you can see right here, I'm starting to panic a little. I'm like, oh my gosh, because that was all of my metallic gold paper I had left. So the parts that peeled off a little bit of that paper actually turned out perfect because I had planned on putting some embellishments onto these ornaments anyways. And in the spots that the peeled off paper was, it worked out perfect for the embellishment. So no one would even know once it's all done. So now there's the topper piece for the ornament and the string, and I'm using a silver glitter paper again just from my stash, and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. And I'm going to glue that to the tops of my ornament. So I'm just arranging them in the way that I want them to be. And I will glue that down. I put glue over the whole back of it, and I'm like, yeah, Joy, that doesn't even make sense. It only needs it at the bottom. And I will adhere that down and let that dry. So now for the rest of the stuff that I'm going to be die cutting, this is from an old Spellbinders kit. I'm using a red and green glitter cardstock. I just wanted everything to be glitterified, if that's even a word. So I've cut those out. I cut out two flowers. There's a larger one and a smaller one, and I believe that was from like the 2018 November card kit. And I'm going to glue those together because I kind of want a substantial flower. And then the little green berries, which are really supposed to be holly berries, I'm just putting them in the center of the flower and it will look great. So I'm going to glue all of this down. I'm using Lawn Fawn's glue tube, but any liquid glue would work fantastic. I'm going to adhere the flowers in and around, and remember, this is the part where little pieces of that gold metallic paper had peeled off, but you're not even going to know because I'm going to be having these cute embellishments on top. It really could not have turned out more perfect. So gluing all those little pieces together, I'm using my tweezers because my fingers tend to get in the way. Finish up this last one. And don't these ornaments look so pretty with that Kaleidoscope Triangle? You just wouldn't even know. It's such a different way to use it. It's such a beautiful die cut. So now this is from Fun Stamper's Journey, which is also through Spellbinders. This is their embossing plate, and this is embossing folder. This is Bright Days, and I hope you guys can see on the camera. It's like a ray and all these little dots coming out from that center circle. Now I'm also going to be using my Glimmer hot foil system. I'm using the red Glimmer hot foil, and I'm going to be using from the November 2019 Glimmer hot foil club. This is like a bunch of Christmas sentiments. So this is going to say Merry Christmas. So I've got my machine plugged in, it's turned on, it's heating up. So while it's heating up, I'm going to be placing down my paper. I'm taping the hot foil plate to the paper. You want the color side facing the hot foil image, and then you flip that over and put it down onto this, onto the Glimmer hot foil system. Once the system turns green and says it's ready, you're going to click the button, and it's going to be blinking. When it stops blinking, then you can run it through your die cut machine. I pull it out from the docking station, add my 2 plates plus a couple shims, paper shims that I have in there. I'm running it through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cut machine. And just kind of run it through slow. Don't rush it through. I'm going to put it back in the docking system, or the docking station, excuse me, and peel that up, and you've got this perfect red Merry Christmas. And that little plate is hot, so watch out. Isn't that so pretty? And then I will trim that out to fit onto this card. So the back panel, I also trimmed down about 1/4 of an inch on each side, and top and bottom. Because I want it to be white on white, I will attach it to an A2 size card base. And so I really want it on that white on white. But because that back panel has got the dimension from the embossing folder, it looks fantastic. So I'm adhering everything to this back panel, trim off any excess that I need. So here are those, the strings essentially that's holding up the Christmas ornaments. And I'm going to adhere that down. And you could use real string if you wanted as well, but I just really liked this silver glitter paper. And I will trim off that excess. Adding a little bit of glue here and there to make sure everything is going to stick. I'm using some Gina K tape to adhere this down to the A2 size card base. I'm also fluffing up the top petals of the top flower now that everything is dry to give it some 3D dimension. Adding some foam tape behind the sentiment because that I want to also have a little bit of dimension. I think this card turned out so super pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? All the glitter and the metallic paper and the dimension and the colors just are so beautiful. So I hope you liked those Kaleidoscope Triangles because they are fantastic. Okay, so here is the Floral High Die Delights etched die. I'm going to be using some pink glitter paper. I was just really in the glitter mood. This to me, and I'm using this silver metallic paper I got from a craft store in another town kind of far from me. And I ran those through the die cut machine. And I ran the word high 3 times on that metallic paper, and I'm going to glue all of that together to give it dimension. So now this card was inspired by like New Year's Eve, kind of with the bright pink, the glittery pink and silvers. You know, when you do decorations for New Year's Eve, it's very glitzy and glammy, and that's where the inspiration for this card was. Again, this is not a holiday die, but I'm in the holiday mood. So I am also going to be using the Fun Stamper's Journey embossing folder. This is Love Stripes, because right now I'm really in love with a lot of white background, but you give it some character using embossing folders. So I'm really, really into that right now. But I will run that through my die cut machine. And I will adhere that. Nope, sorry, wrong thing. I'm going to adhere the word high to that background floral part of the die. and it just sits in centered. It really is so, so pretty. And I also cut out some of the floral images that come with the die in that silver metallic paper, and I'm going to be adding a few of those, just the flowers, to this background piece. I really wanted a lot of the pink glitter, but I felt like I wanted some of these flowers to stand out. So using my tweezers, some liquid glue. Liquid glue is really good for glitter paper, for things to stick. A tape runner doesn't always stick. You could use score tape because that's really strong, but liquid glue is fantastic. So now you can see that little frame piece I have there in the glitter paper. I didn't want to put a whole piece behind it because to me that's just a waste. So I just used my X-Acto knife and just cut out a square so I could have that paper for other things I want later. I'm going to be using some fun foam behind that white embossed panel because I do want that to have some dimension. So I'm just using some liquid glue on both sides, adhering that down. And I'm going to be putting a acrylic block on top of that until it dries so it stays in place and it has good adhesion. But now we've got this little pink glitter frame around the side. So now I'm going to be using the Glimmer hot foil system again, and I've got the pink hot foil. And I'm going to be using the sentiment from the November Glimmer hot foil kit. And it says "From All of Us." So again, I'm going to tape this down to my piece of cardstock, pull it back, use my trimmed piece, color side towards the image of the Glimmer plate, flip that over and put that Glimmer plate down. I ran that through my die cut machine, pulling off the Glimmer foil. Now this was a little over foiled, and that does happen sometimes. Just use your eraser and erase that off, and it works great. When it's really, really over foiled, like you can kind of see on the edge there, that doesn't really want to erase off, but I'm going to be trimming this down, so I really wasn't worried about it. But there was just a little bit of over foiling around the words, but it comes off like it wasn't even there. So now in that Glimmer hot foil kit there's 2 die cuts for the sentiments, and so I'm lining it up on the one side, taping that down, running that through my die cut machine. When it's all done, then I'm going to line it up on the other end, as you can see there, and so it'll have the one angle on one end and the angle on the other end, and run that through my die cut machine. So now that everything's die cut, I'm going to adhere this down using some liquid glue. You could use a tape runner here, that's totally fine. And I'm going to be adhering this to the front of the card, a little higher than center. And I just think it's so pretty. It kind of, even though it's floral, it kind of feels like fireworks to me in a way. And maybe it's just the colors, but I really like how this turned out. And I will pop this sentiment up with some foam tape to add some dimension. And when the little die cut that had the little silver flowers, it also cut out like centers, like little circles. And I will be putting those, just a few of those on this card for a little more movement in the top of this card. And then really that's it. I think the colors and the die cut really speak for themselves. So here are those little silver circles that die cut out. And I'm just going to adhere those down in a few spots. And then you've got this great, great card. I hope you guys like this. These are really great dies. Again, the Kaleidoscope Triangles and the Floral High Die Delights from Spellbinders. Super, super pretty. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate all of your support. If you like what you've seen, please thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment. I love all of that. I have some affiliate links below. It costs you nothing, but it does continue to help me. I just want to say thank you again to Spellbinders for letting me create some projects for you. I love it and I have so much fun. I'll see you guys soon, and thanks so much again. Bye.